How?
Thanks, Gus. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great morning to their Wednesday. Just a reminder that today there is a caravan for Arcadia. So if you have time, go check it out. Go mingle and see the current inventory. Today we're going to be having a Skyslope training. This is part 2. Part 1 went over the listing to sale conversion, and then sale on how to create transactions on Skyslope. Just as a side note, every agent, regardless if you're producing or not, has access to Skyslope. This is your transaction management software. If you're new to business and haven't had a transaction, then obviously this is a good learning process for you, but you will have to get fluent with Skyslope, okay? Before we get started, though, I wanted to go over a couple of things. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. We wanted to go over a couple of things before we jump into Skyslope. So this part 2 is going to go over uploading documents onto your transaction, signing documents to the appropriate place where you're supposed to assign the documents or forms, and then also DigiSign. Now, DigiSign you can use through Skyslope, and you could also use it through your zip forms too. We're going to have a class on zip forms later down the road, and I think in about a month or so. But you can use either platform for signatures, okay? Before we get started, we did want to go over a couple of things. The first thing is an update to the MLS. Okay, let's see. Okay, can you guys see that screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's Camelia brought up a valid point about a couple weeks ago, which I didn't know about. So I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. And that's the rules on 2 separate listing contracts on 1 property. So in a nutshell, if you have a property, like for instance, in this case, you had a multifamily, let's just say 4 units, right? You can market that in 2 different sectors of the CRMLS. You could do it as residential income, and you could also list it as residential, because the other agent on the other side, they might miss your property because they're looking for a residential, or they're looking at it in a different area and stuff. So it is possible to put your one property in 2 different categories, okay? So let's move on. So basically, it's allowed to have both a residential and residential income listing entry of the same residential listing in the MLS database at the same time, okay? Please note you would also need to ensure that the listing contract information fields accurately represent the listing agreement that the new listing is based upon, okay? There's a little bit of, we were communicating with the CRMLS directly. That's why I put those little pictures in the bottom. And this is actual verbiage from the CRMLS, so that's why I wanted to reiterate it. Additionally, please be aware that only one of the 2 listings may be changed to closed status upon the close of escrow. You would need to close the listing that best describes the nature of the sale, okay? And then have your broker change the other listing entry to canceled status with cancellation, being the date being the close of escrow, okay? So if you're going to market it in 2 different categories in the CRMLS, you are going to need 2 different contracts, but only one of them is going to be able to be closed status. The other one you're going to have to cancel it out, okay? And this is an example. Let me just move this real quick. A listing is a duplex, right? So you want to make sure that you expose the property to as many agents as possible. So that's why this is a good way to market a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. You could even do that on LoopNet as well, because it is income property. So investors do look for that. But we're talking about the CRMLS just for right now. So a duplex, the first listing, right? You would have market this property to agents and they're buyers that are looking for a property to reside in, but may be open to a duplex and live in one, right? So this is where you would market that to that type of buyer and that agent that is looking for that, right? Someone that's going to actually live in there. So it's going to be you're going to market it in the residential sector. Now, you can also do a second listing contract as income property and market that to investors that are not looking to buy something to live in, but more so just to rent out. Okay. And that's it. Okay. So that was the first update that I wanted to go over. The second one is the status change. You guys see that? Okay. You guys see this? Peter, did you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So when your listing changes status, active under contract, pending, the only thing that's going to change is the status. Okay. We had multiple agents ask us why the other agency is not showing up and why the price is not showing up. That information will not show up on your MLS listing until it closes. Okay. So the only thing that's going to change is the status. Okay. The list price is going to stay the same. Then let me go to the last page. So over here where it shows the other agency and then the estimated selling information, that will not show up until they actually have a closed status. Okay. And if you scroll down, this is the actual communication we had with CRMLS. And this is what they told us. When placing a listing active under contract or pending, only the listing agent and listing brokerage can see the contract sales price and the buyer's agent information. The contracted sales price and the agency representing the buyers will not appear until the listing is changed to a closed status and escrow has closed. The only change that will appear on the MLS prior to close is the actual status. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that because a lot of agents were calling up asking why they thought it was something on our end on the brokerage saying, why doesn't this information show up? It won't show up until it's closed because anything can happen. Okay. All right, let's move on. The TDS. We wanted to touch base on this because if you are using using an Avid form, it's very important. Anna was supposed to be here with us today, but she's out sick or recovering. So she asked me to bring this up because it's happening repeatedly. Okay. Make sure you mark this box right here, okay, saying that you're using it in Avid form, okay? So that way you have to mark that on your TDS. Here's a TDS if you're using an Avid, okay? Since I'm here, almost every TDS that we get in does not have a checkbox in the section number 1, okay? And we always reject it because there's no checkbox. So there's only 3 choices here, but make sure you check 1. In addition to that, this date right here is almost always missed. And I know why. I don't know why, but I don't know why the zip forms does not auto-populate that date into this form, but it's one of the few forms that will not automatically populate that date. And I think that's why agents are missing that almost on all the TDSs that we get. So just make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's, okay? There's the date right here. Pick one of these 3 boxes on section number 1. And lastly, if you're using an Avid, make sure you check this box, okay? If you're not, Anna is going to reject it, okay? And you're going to have to get it done. So just get it done properly the first time. Lastly, I don't have any slide for it, but maybe Peter could chime in on this as well. We are going to come up with a new stamp to get the buyer's signatures acknowledging and accepting their home inspection. I think if I'm not mistaken, Peter, we're in a situation right now legally where the buyer is suing the buyer's agent, the
Yeah.
listing agent, and the seller because they weren't satisfied with the findings of the home inspection.
That's right.
The
That's right.
easy
You have to be
remedy
very careful with that.
is either to get every page signed, or we're gonna develop a stamp to stamp the first page that the buyer acknowledges and accepts and read the entire home inspection. And that will safeguard you should a lawsuit arise. I don't know if you want to chime in, Peter, and add anything to that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we must do because we want to protect everybody, you know, the agents, the company, and everybody involved. Because this lawsuits, they sue everybody. They sue even the lender, the escrow officer, and the TC. Can you believe that?
Yep.
So it's kind of scratching my head, you know. So I said, well, we have to be very careful with the inspection, property inspection report. Make sure that the buyer sign it and acknowledge it and then prove it. Okay.
Yeah, so we're just gonna put a little stamp in the first page, and then the buyer's gonna have to sign that. You could also send that to get signed digitally if you wish, so no problem. But this is a safeguard for you, believe it or not. We're not trying to add more work. We don't want more work. We're just trying to safeguard you, so that way your buyer is excited to buy a house more than likely. So they're gonna just sign whatever you tell them to sign and stuff. But there's repercussions if the buyer is not fully aware of, for instance, in this case, the findings of the home inspection. So this stamp is gonna let them know that by signing, they've reviewed all the pages, they acknowledge the home inspection, and they accept it. So later on down the road, they can't say, I didn't know. It's their responsibility to read and accept it. And if they have a problem with it, then you have to address it at that time, whether it be with the seller or consult the actual person that did the home inspection. But we are going to do that. It's a safeguard for our agents and the brokerage. So we're not doing it just to add more work. Okay.
Yeah,
Pretty
in this current lawsuit, the buyer acknowledged that there is a physical inspection report, but alleged that the agent didn't show it to him after the close of escrow. You see what I mean?
Yep.
They know. They said I do know the existing of the report, but it was not shown to me until after the close of escrow. So how do you document that? By you document it by signing, by
Right.
obtaining a signature from the buyer before the close of escrow. Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we won't let you close escrow unless that stamp is signed. You know, in lieu of initialing and signing every single page, this stamp will take care of that and stuff. Okay. So that's moving on. That's all the updates I have. So we're gonna move on to our actual training for today, which is Skyslope Part 2. The first section is going to be, I emailed this out to everybody after the first session, but I'll email out the slides again today. We're going to be starting on page number 42, which is 43, because that's where we stopped. And this is where we're going to continue. Now, this is a Skyslope tutorial to help upload documents. Okay, this is a step-by-step. It'll help you figure things out, you know, step by step. You could come back later on and review it, and it's pretty basic stuff. There's also a link here. It's going to be attached to the slides where there's tutorials and also a short video showing you how to do it. Okay. So when you go to upload documents, this is what you're going to see in your transaction summary. Okay, the documents, and then you want to click on this documents tab right here where I have it circled. Okay. And then that's going to lead you to this page. Okay. There's two ways to upload a document. Okay. You can email it to this email address, which when you create a transaction, just to remind you, it's going to create a Skyslope email for that transaction. Usually it's the address with the numeric at skyslope.com. if you email documents to that email, it'll automatically show up right here where it says document list. Now, there's a new tool too. Skyslope is with the help of AI, is if you send a email, which is one PDF with, let's just say 10 different forms, it's gonna separate everything for you and recognize the names of the forms, like the RPA, the CCCP, or what have you and stuff. It's not 100%, so you still have to go back and check, check all your work and your documents. But for the most part, I would say it's about 70 to 80%, and they're still working on it and they're still progressing with it. So if you're out on the road, right, and the listing agent or selling agent sends you some documents, right, fully executed documents or what have you, you could just forward that email straight to this email and your documents are uploaded. That simple, okay? The other way you can do it is by clicking on this upload document right here to your right. That will, if you click on that, which is what we're going to see in the next slide, you'll get to this part, okay? Actually, no, I missed a slide. When you click on upload document, let me see if it's over here. It'll populate a where you're going to pull that document from, your desktop, from a file, and then you can upload the document from there. It's pretty simple. I'm going to go over it and actually do it after we get through the slides, so you guys can see how to upload a document, assign a document, and also DigiSign a document, okay? I have a transaction here that I made up as a sample, so we'll use that. So when you do upload a document, it's going to automatically appear right here. And this one just says leads email number 2, because I just uploaded any document, okay? It's showing that it's a Word document. And you could also rename it, okay? So if it's not a leads email number 2 and it's, let's just say a TDS or some sort, you just click on rename and you could rename it, okay? No problem. When you email the documents or you're uploading the documents, you're going to see all these documents start coming in, and it's going to look something like this, okay? Now, when the documents do come in, they're going to have a long list, depending on how many documents you sent. If they're split or it didn't recognize them, there's a little bit of work to do on the agent side here, okay? Obviously, you see it says contract, so you're going to have to rename them, okay? You just click on rename and rename them to the appropriate name that you need. Also, you can split them. If this contract number 6 actually has 3 forms in there, you just click on the PDF little paper right there, and it'll open it up. You could also preview it over here too with the little eye that it has right there. But then you would click on split, and then that's where you would start splitting them, okay? And that's it. That's how you upload documents. It's very simple, okay? So if Anna asks you to upload the documents to Skyslope, now you know how to upload documents to Skyslope. You either email them or you save them on your desktop or in a file on your computer and you upload them in that format, okay? So now we're going to move on to how to assign documents to your checklist, okay? Everybody, if you have a transaction, you have a checklist, okay, automatically. Now, there's also going to be a link here. If you click on the link, it'll send you straight to a video, a short video on showing you how to assign documents, or it'll give you a tutorial where you can reference it, okay? So when you are assigning documents, right, this is showing you how to split after splitting the documents, right? So you're going to have a list of all these documents, okay? You could split them, or if they're already split and you're good with them, then you could assign them. Here's the checklist right here. So this AD is going to be assigned to AD2. This document right here, I don't know what it is. So you have to take a look at it and you have to name it. And then if there's no place to assign it to, like it doesn't match, then you just put it in your miscellaneous, okay? Every checklist is going to have a miscellaneous, and that's it. So After the agents clear Skyslope suggested assignments and so you can also clear suggestions as well. So if all this, the AI is not assigning and splitting your documents accurately, then you can clear your suggestions and start from scratch. You see, this is one of 37 pages right here. So obviously you have to split them and assign them manually, or if AI did a good job, then it did it already. All right, when you're done, it's going to tell you, nice job. You split 12 docs and 9 were attached to your checklist. Okay, that's how you're going to know that you did it properly. Okay, if you didn't, no worries. We could always go back, change things, delete things, add things, and we'll help you through that process with Anna as the TC and myself as well, and Denise. Okay, but this is a clear indication of you doing it properly. Then you either go to your checklist or you return to docs. If you go to return to docs, you're going to go back to your documents. You go to your checklist, and this is how it's going to look. Okay. Your site is not going to show pending. Okay. That's what we see. Your site's going to say in review. So if you upload documents, I have a different side of Skyslope, which is management and transaction coordination. So I see it in a different format, but you guys are going to see it green and it's going to say in review. When it's accepted, you'll see it that it's completed. Okay. If not, it'll be rejected and it'll turn red and show you that it's not, that it's been rejected. Okay. And this is your checklist, and that's it. That's it. That's all. That's how you assign your documents. Again, we're also going to assign documents after this, after these slides, so you can actually see how it's done. Okay. Now, moving on, part 3 of this session, which is DigiSign. Okay. I told you before, you can use DigiSign through Skyslope, or you can use AuthentiSign through ZipForms Plus. Okay. Every agent has both platforms. You can use both. In addition to that, if you have an account with DocuSign, you can use DocuSign. I know agents like using DocuSign. So if you have an account, feel free to use DocuSign. Okay. I know you have to pay for it. If you want to see a tutorial or a video, again, these slides are going to have a link, so you can, at your leisure, you can read it or look at the video. Okay. So to do DigiSign, the first thing you're going to need to do is to go to the transaction that you want to have a DigiSign for. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be 1726 Phillips Way, and then you go to that transaction. Okay, you're going to create a new envelope. Okay, when you create a new envelope, you could either choose by property or just search right here. Okay, and then that's the new envelope is going to be your actual DigiSign. Okay, so you could also search through property right here. Okay, so if you can't find it, and you're worried and you're stressed or whatever, don't worry, just slow down and just put in the property address, and then it'll show up, and it'll also tell you the status. Okay, and the date modified. Once you do that, you click on the actual property. In this case, we clicked on Markland Drive. Okay. Now, once you do that, it's gonna open up the documents that you have already in your transaction. Okay. So you can either choose on one of these by clicking the add button right here, and it's gonna automatically show up on this is my right side. And that's where, on this side right here, is where the forms are going to be sent for DocuSign. If that form is not in your transaction, and let's just say it's the home inspection, right? That is obviously not going to be in your transaction. Well, then what you could do is upload just the first page of your home inspection that has the stamp there, and then that will appear right here on the right side, and then you could be ready to send that to your clients to sign. Okay, So that's where you would upload documents straight from your computer. As you can see, I clicked on a document and it went to the right side. Now, this is where you choose who you want it sent, who's going to sign and who do you want it sent to. Okay. In this case, I'm the person that's going to be signing. And then Ann Cho, which is escrow, is going to get a copy. Okay. So you don't have to get it signed and then send it to escrow. It'll automatically be sent to escrow once it's fully executed. Okay, so this kills two birds with one stone. Then that's it. After that, the actual form that you're going to be sending to get signed is going to show up here with a bunch of different fields up on top on what you want to do. You can have a signature, initials. You could populate my name, the date, the time. You could put a little checkbox for them, a checkbox, and you could also put some text saying, "Hey, please acknowledge the receipt of this form and sign here." So you could put the text and then the signature following it. There's also a field there that shows for striking. Striking is kind of just redacting some verbiage. So if you need to redact something, you can at this point. Usually people do that before you send it to sign. But if you're at this stage and you're like, oh, there's a social security number there. Okay, well, then you could strike it out. Okay. By striking it out, it's not going to redact it, though. It's just going to put a line across it. So you're probably more than likely still going to be able to see it. All right. Let me see if I have anything on the bottom. Nope. Okay. And then at the very bottom, I'm just showing you at the very bottom, you have a little drop down right there. So you can pick and choose. In this case, it was just me signing, but if let's say there was 3 other people signing, you could click on that little drop down there, so you don't have to go back and forth. You could just add them to sign right there a lot quicker and stuff. Now, again, you see that little initials right there. I put the initials right there. Okay, this is just showing you the different types. You have a signature, you have your name, you have a checkbox, text, and then the date. So those are the different applications you could put on a form to get executed. And then you send it. That's it. Make sure you click the send button and let your clients know, or whoever is receiving it, that to look out for a DigiSign. It's not going to come from you. It's going to come from Skyslope, from the transaction, okay? So it's very important to let them know to look out for it. If it's not in their inbox, I didn't get it, tell them to check their junk or spam, because more than likely, for the first time, because it doesn't recognize that email, it's going to go to their junk mail. And that is it, okay? So the last part of this session, before we actually go into the platform, the software, is if you have any problems, if you have any questions, and Anna's not available, maybe it's the weekend or late at night, and you need to get this signed and they're far away, you could always go, when you log into DigiSign, you could always go and get help, tutorials, videos. As a matter of fact, there's also, if you click on this little support, the little lady right there with the phone, that will open up a chat box where you can actually, chat with someone live. At the beginning, it is going to be a robot. Just once you get past the first 2 or 3 questions, it'll go to a live person. They're 24/7, okay? And that person will guide you to what you need to do. If you don't have the right tutorial or you can't find the right video, you can always reference that little lady right there, okay? You can also print documents and you can save them as PDF, okay? That's what this button is. And then the little search button, whatever you want to search, tutorials, help, transactions, that's where you would click on the little search button. And I think that's it. So before we dive into the actual platform, do we have any questions? All right. So we're going to do uploading, assigning, and DigiSign. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna stop sharing this and go to the next. Let's see. Okay, can you guys see my Skyslope?
Yeah.
Okay, so just so you know, my Skyslope is going to look a little different than your Skyslope. So don't get alarmed or like, oh my God, this is not what I saw. Mine looks a little different. Okay, so just know that. So again, I'm going to go through search button. I'm going to put in the address that I need. I just created a fake one, a little sample. All right, here we are. This is what you will see, okay? This is your checklist, okay? Automatically, when you go into your transaction, this is what you will see. So, and I want to go to documents. So again, you know, we're talking about documents, whether it be uploading, assigning, or digisigning, you're going to go to your documents. So you go to documents, right? And then I could either, oh, there's no email here. I did do something wrong, but you can either email it to, well, let me show you. So if there's no email here, right? So let's go back to contacts. No, I don't know why it didn't create an email. That is weird. Okay, well, let me just show you how to upload documents manually. Okay, you go to upload document. It's going to open up this window, right? So let's just say I want to upload, let's do something that's not too, let's check this. Let's do this one. It's only one page anyways. There it is. That's the document I just uploaded, okay? So I'm going to delete this one just for right now. If you want to delete an item, you just click on that and you go to this little drop down and you put it in your trash, okay? Now what I want to do is I'm going to upload let me start from the beginning because I think this is all. I'm going to delete all of these trash. Reason why I'm deleting them, it won't let me. Okay, so let me upload a document. And I am going to go to, let's see, this one. Let's see what it does. It should separate it for me. No, it didn't. So you see, here's the RPA that I just uploaded. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. You see how it's not just the RPA, it's all the documents together, okay? There's the RPA, the AD was in the front. Let me move this. And then we're gonna get to the very bottom. And then there's the BIA. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna split it, okay? Because we know it's not just the RPA. Let's go ahead and split that. You see how it already separated everything for me? Because it knows. So in this case, I don't have to do any work. That's where AI came into play with Skyslope. But if you did have to do it, you would just clear suggestions, right? And you start from scratch, right? So the first page and the second page, so the first page would be the AD. Let's see, what is it called? AC, I think. No, it is AD. Oh, that's the document name. So let's just do AD, right? And then AD. I don't see where it's at, right there, AD. Okay, and then you would go to, and this is 2 pages, right? So it's 1 to 2. And then you start with the FHDA. Right? And that's 2 pages, so 3 to 4. And then you go to the PRBS. And then that is only one page, so 5 and 5. Then you go to the WFA, and that is 1 page 2, so 6, 6. And then you go to the RPA, okay? And that is, there, this gives you a number count right here, by the way, too. So you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You just go to the last page, right? Which is right there. So 22 to 26, right? It's page 22, so 7, and it ends at 22. So then 23 would be the BIA. That's 2 pages. Go to 24. And then finally, the last one, I think there's 2 more, yeah. So this would be the FAA at 1 page, and then finally CCPA. And delete that last row. Now you're done. So now split and assign, okay? You can split them and not assign them, but I already know that they're gonna go to wherever they need to go. So I'm gonna split and assign. That's it. And then let's go to checklist. And all of those forms are now in the checklist. Okay, pretty simple, right? Okay, any questions there? Okay, so that is uploading documents into your checklist. Now we're going to do assigning. Actually, we just assigned the documents, right? So let's just do one more document. We always go to documents, right? Upload document. And let me do a simple one. Let me do that one again. It's going to show up right here. There's an open house, right? I'm going to click on the document, and then you're going to put assign. And then, so we know this open house checklist is not going to be in any type of folder, right? So got to look for a miscellaneous. All the there's miscellaneous. So you click on miscellaneous and you assign it. It's done. Okay. The way you know those documents are assigned is there's going to be a paper clip on it. If it doesn't have a paper clip, that means it's not assigned. This one doesn't have a paper clip because remember, that's one PDF with all of these forms in it, but I already split them and I assigned them. Okay. So that's why that shows there. Okay. And then, so anything that's assigned will have a paper clip. If you want to preview something, you can actually click on it and it'll open a PDF. That's what I uploaded and I assigned, just as an example. Or you could just hover over this preview and it'll open up a little window and just see, okay, that's what that is. Okay. If I wanted to rename this, just click on rename, right? And I type in Ruben's dot. And you press on a little save button right there. And now I just renamed it. Okay. So you can rename it whatever you want, you know, whatever is applicable.
Ruben, I have a question.
Yes.
What's the reason why you split it again?
Well, what's the reason why we split them?
You need,
Jeffrey, you got to speak up. I can barely hear you.
do we need to split every time? What's the reason why you split it? What's the reason why you have to split?
You don't have to split it. It depends if you need to split it. For instance, if I email you one PDF, like one email that has maybe, let's just say 5 different documents, but in one PDF, how can you assign that PDF to one field? You have to split it because there's 5 different documents in that one file. Does that make sense?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. So you don't always have to split it. I mean, you can upload the documents one by one, or you can email the documents to your transaction one by one. But if you receive an email with all the documents in one file, which nowadays almost every agent wants one file with all the documents in there. Listing agents don't like everything pieced together. They just want to see everything in one file. That's it. So if you get the file in that format, you're going to have to split it because you have to assign every form to a separate field. Okay, so that's the reason why. So
Ruben,
yes, who is that?
I have a question.
Yes, David.
Whenever I do a transaction, I always have a transaction coordinator involved. And I pay for the fee for the transaction coordinator to do this work. Am I correct in understanding that all of this assignment and splitting will be done by Tu Hang?
No, she will not do this for you. Unless
I
unless
have to,
it's nice.
I have to do the transaction. I have to do it myself.
Yes, yes. They are going to help manage your transaction. Well, let me step backwards a little bit. If you're paying for a full TC, I'm not talking about Tuan or Anna that's here, but if you're paying for a full TC, which is usually about anywhere between 300 and 500 per transaction, they will do all this for you. You don't have to do anything. You basically just send them everything that you need to send, and they'll manage your transaction for you. If you do not want to pay that fee, and then you're going to have to do a lot of this yourself. Yes, there's certain things that Anna and Tuan will do for our agents, but there's certain things that you're responsible to do. And aside from
But
that,
if I pay the fee, then I'm willing to pay the fee, and I've always done that. Then I can assign it to Tu Hang.
no, so Tuhan, the fee that you're talking about is a 295 CBGR addendum. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, once the project goes to escrow, all of the documents there's all kinds of work that has to be done, and it's always been my experience for the transaction coordinator to coordinate all the documents that go to escrow, all the documents that need to be signed by the buyer, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. You're accurate in that aspect, David, but the forms and documents have to get to the TC, right? How are they going to get there? By you, correct?
Okay, well, I don't mind. It was very confusing from what my past experience has been. This is like jumping out of an airplane with no parachute, okay?
That's true.
I understand now. I have to get my own parachute and jump.
Right. Yeah. There's certain things that the TC will assist you with, and there's certain responsibilities that the agents are responsible for. I mean, once the documents get to the TC and they're fully executed, she'll coordinate with escrow and get everything done. But the documents have to get to them, right? So the TC is not going to send, unless you have a full TC, you're paying a contractor, a contracted transaction coordinator. You're responsible for sending those documents to your clients to be executed. Once they come back to the file executed, that's where the TC here, Anna or Tuan, will start managing your transaction and sending the applicable documents to escrow and with the other agent involved and stuff. But there are responsibilities. This is one of the responsibilities that the agent needs to do. So for instance, splitting and assigning, Anna or Tuan are not going to do that for you. You're responsible for doing that. Make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. I just wanted to get it clarified. You've done an excellent job in clarifying.
But we'll guide you through the whole process. It's not hard. That's the whole reason why we're doing this today, just to show everybody how easy it is once you actually dive in and manage the platform. So everybody's good with that? Okay, so now we're going to move on to the final topic, which is DigiSign. Okay, so if I wanted to pick this Ruben doc that I renamed and I just uploaded and I just assigned to miscellaneous, right? I'm going to click on that and then go straight over to DigiSign. Okay, click on DigiSign. It's very simple, guys. I clicked on it, so it's automatically going to put it on the right side. Also, give it some time because Skyslope does tend to take a little bit of time for certain tasks. So it's not your computer. Just be a little patient. It's taking a lot of time today, but I see it working. I wonder if it's stuck. I'm going to go ahead and refresh. There he goes. So I clicked refresh. So it does take some time. As you can see that the document's already there because I had clicked on it prior to creating an envelope, right? But if I wanted to add something, I can just add this document. And you see, now it's put right on the right side. If that document that I want signed is not in the list right here, there's a long list, all of these, right? Then I'm going to click upload. And then let's just pick, I'll pick this caravan. I'm just picking random things that I have on my desktop, okay? Now I have 3 documents, right? So from here, let me move this again. You go to next. Now, who's going to be signing? Okay, I'm going to click myself to sign. And then let's just say Jack Lee. I want the purchaser to get a copy, or transaction coordinator. I want her to get a copy of it, right? So, but I don't want the transaction coordinator to sign, right? So I'm going to move her or him down. So the top portion is who's signing. The bottom portion is who's getting a copy. They will not get they won't get a copy. They won't get an email until it's fully executed, okay? Let's just say, oh, I missed a signer. Let's put Jack Lee. There's Jack Lee right there. Let's say I also want this person to get a copy and move her down. Pretty simple, right? All right, and then you click next. I'm not going to click next. Well, actually, I'll do it. Nobody's going to get the email anyways. I'm going to get the email and it's done. So you basically just, okay, I want to put a signature right there. Let's see, a signature right there. I'm going to put a date right there. And then on this one, all I just need is the initials. And then let's put a checkbox right there for whatever reason. They're going to need to check on it. Like let's just say it's, I acknowledge. You could put a text right here. So this is probably going to be like the stamp, like I acknowledge, whoops, whatever. I'm just going to put whatever right there, right? And then that, they will have to check that box in order for it to complete the to complete it. Let me see why this is open. Let me exit out of that. Okay. Once that's done, you just click send. Send for signatures. That's it. Now I call David. Hey, just want to let you know you'll be receiving an email. It's probably going to come from a weird email that you haven't seen in the past. It's a transaction from Skyslope. Please execute those documents as soon as possible. If you have any questions, call me. Okay, thank you, David. That's it. Let them know to look out for it because it might go to their spam, might go to their junk. Their email is probably not going to recognize it the first or second time and stuff. So let them know. But it's as simple as that. Okay. You can use Skyslope for signing documents, even if you don't have a transaction. If you want to utilize this platform, you know, all of our agents have this platform. You have zip forms too, but this one's a little bit easier if you want to use it for something that you need signed that you necessarily don't have a transaction. So I hope you guys got value out of this. It's a very simple process, but you just have to adapt and you have to use it and stuff. Any questions there? I hear some talking, but that's not questions, right? All right, no questions? So now you know how to use Skyslope. If you're worried, we have this session recorded. You can go back, listen to it again, or you can just text me or email me, and we'll perhaps do a Zoom meeting or something like that. Or even
Ruben, Ruben, I have a question, Jeffrey.
yeah.
Can you basically differentiate to me the difference between the use of zip form and then the Skyslope? The basic difference?
It's just two different platforms. That's it.
Yeah.
You can use DigiSign through Skyslope or AuthentiSign through ZipForms Plus. That's it. There's no difference. It's electronic signatures. So there's DocuSign. So there's an abundance of applications to get documents signed. But what you have available is DigiSign through Skyslope and AuthentiSign through ZipForms Plus. So they both do the same exact thing. So
basically, we need to use the Skyslope if we have a closed transaction or an escrow. I mean, say what's the
no, you
use the platform of the Skyslope again?
No, you can use either one. I'm just training on Skyslope today, but you can use ZipForms Plus if you wanted to. I'm not going to train on that for another month or two, but both of them do the same thing. Basically, you're just sending out documents to get electronically signed. That's it.
So basically, you know, I can use either one, right?
Yes,
right.
Correct.
So I already learned the first one that you taught us on the zip form. So
Right.
So if I prepare the zip form, I don't need to execute this Skyslope, right?
Right. But just know this, that if you get something signed through ZipForms, you still have to upload it into Skyslope. How's it going to get to Skyslope? Skyslope is your transaction management, okay? That's what's going to communicate between you and your transaction coordinator to get everything processed. And for Anna to be your transaction coordinator to be able to communicate with escrow and the other parties involved to get your transaction closed. So if you use ZipForms, you can get all your signatures done that way, but you still are going to have to send it to Skyslope. Okay. Now you can, once you get those documents signed through ZipForms, you can email it. Remember, you can email those documents straight to Skyslope, and then they'll be uploaded. Now, at that point, all you have to do is assign them to the appropriate, place for it to be assigned. Does that make sense?
I remember we had the first session on the Skyslope. I think that's the one that you were represented before, right? How we do the transaction from Ziploc to our training coordinator, right? That's the first session, right?
The first session of Skyslope?
Yeah.
No, the first session on Skyslope, basically just how to create a transaction, a listing conversion to a sale, and then a sale. So that was teaching the agents, and that's available on CB on our agent website. You can always go back and view that and stuff. This is basically today's session was basically uploading, assigning, and then utilizing the DigiSign platform of Skyslope. But like you said, if you want to use ZipForms, you're more than welcome to. I'm just not training on that today.
Gotcha.
Okay. Any further questions? All right. Well, that's our session for today. I thank everybody for attending. Just log on to your Skyslope, create a sample transaction, play with it, email it to yourself, so that way you can be fluent with it. Okay. All right, folks. Gus, are you still in the training room?
Yes, sir.
Can you go ahead and press stop